to give a presentation. Tracy Yuki. Which part of a presentation is most important? The introduction, the main points, or the conclusion? The first minute is most important to catch the listener's attention. How can we do this? We can ask a question. What percentage of people are frightened of giving a presentation? We can use a statistic. 75% of people are frightened of giving a presentation. We can tell a story. My children play basketball and my son was asked to coach my daughter's team. It was a wonderful season and my daughter's team won the grand final. At the presentation ceremony, all of the coaches gave very long, sometimes very boring speeches, but I was still very excited. I could hardly wait for my daughter to be presented with a premiership flag and for my son to give a speech. I was ready to video everything, but my son hid under his hat and mumbled, "Thanks everyone, good job," and disappeared from the stage. Well, that was short and sweet, my dad said. He had coached his team to win a premiership, but he was too scared to speak in front of everyone. We can use a quotation. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Albert Einstein. We can show and tell. Bring in something about your topic to show your listeners. There are 4 parts of an introduction. 1. Catching the attention in the first minute. 2. Introducing the topic. 3. Why and how you know about this topic. 4. The main points of the presentation. Number 1. So, to catch the attention in the first minute, start with either a question, story, statistic, quotation, or an interesting object. In order to make an interesting question, I ask my students to Google surprising facts about their topic and choose one surprising fact to make a question from. I remember that one of my students was particularly good at coming up with interesting questions. Her topic was her hobby, skipping. She said, "Now I have a question. How many jumps can one person do in 30 seconds? She waited until many students had tried to answer the question, and then she told the answer on her next presentation slide. The answer. According to the world record, someone jumped 188 times in 30 seconds. The student had a good question, used pictures, and even brought in a skipping rope. Number 2, always introduce the topic. I am going to talk to you about how to give a great presentation. Number 3, choose a topic that you know about. As a teacher, I want to help you to improve your presentation. Number 4, the main points. Strategies to improve a presentation. Number 2, the main message. Number 3, interacting with the audience. Now for some presentation strategies. It is really important to smile, make eye contact, speak clearly, slowly, and with feeling. Do not read, instead make some cue cards. Practice, practice, practice. Use pictures, props, and examples to help the listeners to understand. Use words that you understand. Use words that are easy to pronounce. What is the main message? No one can remember more than 3 points. Philip Crosby. What do you want the listeners to remember? When I was 25, I got a job as a teacher's assistant at a high school in Japan. I was a shy girl and a bit scared to talk in front of a classroom of Japanese students. In fact, it was as scary as leaving my family and Australia for a year. But when I started talking in front of the students, I saw that the students were even more nervous than me. Sometimes I spent hours and hours and hours planning my lessons, and I talked a lot. I thought that the students would understand, but the students didn't understand very much. Another teacher suggested to teach something simple. I decided to teach a song called Imagine by John Lennon because it is slow and simple. Songs are fun and I wanted to relax the students. I gave the students the words of the song to read while they listened. I deleted some of the words to encourage them to listen carefully. The students listened and tried to write down the missing words. They were so excited to catch a word in English, and nearly everyone in the class put their hands up at the end to tell me the missing words. The students were able to learn an English song, and we had so much fun that we forgot to be nervous. So keep the 3 main points short and simple. Did you know that if you are able to give a good presentation, you can increase your salary by 10% and increase your chance of promotion by 15%? Interact with the listeners. Are the listeners looking at their phone or looking at you? Are they bored, interested, or confused? Use statistics to persuade the audience. Use examples and stories to connect with the emotions of the listeners. Explain difficult words with pictures and ask questions to check understanding. Conclusion. Remember that the first minute is the most important time to catch everyone's attention. Make sure that you only have 3 main points. Check that the audience is listening, understanding, and enjoying your presentation. Thank you. Do you have any questions?